Dave here. How are you? Today is the 1st of August 2021. Sorry about the delay in the start there. The issue was I hadn't done one little technical things on the side, and now it's all sorted. And I see it streaming, and I'm hoping the sound is all coming through, and AV all good. Don't forget the socials. Peter, all the socials are already done. Thank you very much. And this week, I've switched the images on the monitor, so I'm looking right at the monitor, not at the lag, which is happening on the monitor over there. Okay, a thumbs down. Yeah, good on them. All right, today on the show, I'll put this away, we are going to make a jig for the Festool domino so I can do plunges directly on a line. And then we're going to hook in and assemble, use the jig that we're going to make, and then I'm going to hook in and assemble this carcass for the laundry cabinet. So hopefully you'll be able to hang around and see how it all goes. All right, this week, also today, the daylight today, so Southern Hemisphere in latitude of where Sydney is, since the winter solstice, which was only about 5.5 weeks ago, there is another half hour longer of daylight. Only in 5.5 weeks, the days have increased, you know, minute a day, something like that. And isn't that cool? We just keep on plodding along. This happens in the background. We don't even really notice it until we go, oh, still bright and I've had dinner. Okay, so that's that part. Now, I have started already. I'll show you a picture of what this thing's going to look like. This is, oh, good morning, Eb. How are you? This is the Bigfoot, and this is a big piece of wood and some screws, and it's very, very easy. Now, I have put links in the description, video description down below, that's showing you where that plan is. Now, these plans are free on TSO's website, and they do it one for the 500 and one for the 700. Now, I'm making one for the 500 at the moment because I'll be using the 500 domino on this because I find it's easier for that plunge. Now, let me see. Are there anyone else other than my family watching the show today? There we go, everyone else. Ian, hello, good morning, everyone. All right, I'm going to switch the cameras around to this side because I have already started on this jig. And you might see that I've got a line here. It's very dark, hard to see. This is an area where I'll be looking down inside where the domino is. And I'll look, it all makes sense as I'm going along. All right, I'm going to switch cameras over to this one on the side. And you'll see I've got the bench already set up on the skirt here to just drop this in. Now, I was thinking about using the jigsaw to cut this out, but I thought, you know, this is so easy. This is one of the reasons I designed this bench, to make it so easy to do this bit. All right, I'll put the glasses on that can help me actually see things. I've put a slot in there with a mortise gauge because I'll just increase that a little. To there, and with after you've done a scribe with a mortise gauge, get a pencil and go down inside it. Just makes it a lot easier to see it. All right, I'm going to do a cut here and a cut here, then we'll get the coping saw out and hook in over there. Japanese saw, the reason I like these is because they're on the pull stroke. It's nice and fine. One. Going off a little bit there. Back online. Cool. Coping saw. That's pretty good, isn't it? You like that? I love it. Now, coping saw. And we're going to follow in on the top here, where I've just done that cut, and come back a little. I'm going to release the handle a little so I can turn at 90 degrees. Make sure that both those pins are facing the same direction. There. I'll relax the saw. It's just a matter of if you haven't used a coping saw, they're pretty easy. You just release the handle, spin them. Now it's a straight saw again. I want it actually to go around to 90 degrees the other way. These are things we all had at school. Tighten her up. And so now I can go back up the other direction. Done. All right, a little rough there, so I'm going to clean that up. Pull that one out, over there. No, put it over here, David. Switch the cameras around. Yeah, it's not too bad. That chisel's seen sharper days. Okay, now it says to put a mark in the middle at 675 millimeters. So let's see how we're doing on that. 135. 67.5 millimeters, I should say. Now coming up that high, I'm going to have parallax error. So I'm down just a touch. I'll put a square line across that. Whoop, where are we? Calcam. There. So. There. All right. We're flying along. Where are we? Let me do a quick read. Good morning, everyone. I'll just say a blanket hi down there. Getting too skinny, Kevin. Well, my wife would agree with you. You are sitting in the naughty corner, baby. All right, round has no corners. Stanton's making up the numbers today. They are indeed. Don't forget to thank you, Andrew. All right, now this is going to get screwed on to here. And there's a mark, there's a spot on the cursor here, right there. There's blue on blue, you're going to have a hard time seeing it. There is a cursor, a little cursor sticking up, and that goes all the way to the bottom, so it's going to stop parallax error. Now to assemble it, I'll move a couple of things out of the way. To find the holes perfectly, what we need to do, move a few things. I have to actually rip this down to a certain width as well, 104.5 millimeters wide. So we're going to do that on the table saw. So I'm going to move this camera for a second without you having to get seasick while I'm doing it. And we'll set the saw up to do that. Come back again. I thought I'd get a head start on things just to make it work quicker. Camera 3. Yeah, I need to tilt that up just a touch. That's looking a lot better. All right, I'll switch over the cameras and take this with me. What are we going to do? 104.5. Now, let's move this one out a little. The table saw stock guides, I've mentioned a fair bit before, but what you do to set them, all we do is put the piece of timber that you're going to cut under the support, let it drop down, and you'll notice that the roller is actually lower. And as I push the timber through, it's going to grab a hold and hold it up against the fence for me. This is your friend when you're using a table saw. 104.5, wasn't it? Now I need to make it just a little wider because I've got a slightly wider blade in there than my scale is normally set to. And grab those other specs. And you might wonder why I'm changing glasses all the time. It's because I ordered some that were two times magnification and then 3 times arrived. And they seemed to work okay, and I thought, all right, we'll just go with those. But they're not great for doing the reading. Anyway, not to worry. They are what they are. So we'll rip this. Everything's good. Dust extraction's working. Back to there, give me a sec. I've got to bring that camera back again now. So the next thing to do, as I say, this is a very, very basic jig, but hopefully it's going to work well and kind of make me look like I know what I'm doing. That'd be good. Okay, how's the time going? Just gone 1/4 past, that's fine. We're going to smash this. All right, now I have that like that. And that's basically the dimensions. The length doesn't matter, whatever your length you need, but it's got to be 12.7 mil, so 1/2 inch or 12 mil, plus or minus 2 millimeters. It's your call. Now, I have a pencil line in that right in the center. And then I have to put a scribe line down this 60 millimeters from the front face. Where are we? Where are we? We've got to read, yeah, 60 millimeters. So I need to set up my marking gauge. Forgot the name of it for a second there. Come back again. Sorry, I'm doing a fair bit of walking around. It's just that I'm using different parts of the workshop. 60. Now, how to set these things is you get it almost right. Put the right glasses back on again. Don't worry. So you get it almost right, which it is, and then you do that. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Now I'm using a steel rule, and so you just you nip it up at the end, but just a little tap, and you can just make this block slide down or up, and it's really very good in comparison to stuffing it up. 60 millimeters wide. All right. Now what I'm going to do is, because I've already cut the hole out first, I'm going to measure back from this side because that's parallel, because I want to go past that spot. I should have really done it the other way around, but it only takes a second doing it the way that I showed you. That's it, spot on. Go the other way. Now that 60 millimeter line, we're going to put pencil in as well, just in this area. So it stands out. See that? It's the easy way to do it. Brendo, you were watching the Olympics? No, I'm pretty good. I like to run it on my own. A bit like that. All right, so now I need to set this up. Oh, that's great. Now I have to clamp this on because we're going to put some grub screws down in here. They're going to create the center points for the drill hole, the holes that we're going to drill, the screw holes. Yeah, well, for the screw holes. So this is going to work quite well. I need to clamp that down in position. So I'm going to use the bench. And see how we go. So I've got to line up that and that. That, and that. It moves sideways, ever so slightly. That's all right. It's all right. If I pull one in from the other side, it may work. It may work. Give it a bit of a tap sideways. All good. spot on. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. I'll get the other camera. See, this is critical. This has got to be perfect. If it's not perfect, the jig's going to be a waste of time. All right, where are we? So you can see this point here has to, that cursor, it goes all the way down. It's got to be dead in line with that line, and also on the other side. And then on the front, it's got to be in line with the front as well. And why? Because that's going to be my reference point when the domino is actually mounted to this plate. I'll bring this back around this way now, and you can see what I'm going to do. Now they supply these tiny little 3mm hex socket grub screws. So we're going to put it on a driver and send that down. They supply 4 of them. I don't know if I need 4 of them, but I'll put them all in at one time. And all these are going to do really is it's going to mark it. Oh, that's a pain. That is a pain, David. Come on, you can do it. Once I get it started, it'll be okay. There she goes. Okay, now I'm going to give it a bit of tightening. And a bit of tightening. And hopefully that's going to mark it. Yes, it has marked it. Cool. I can breathe again. Yep. All right. It's only a very faint mark, but the marks are there. I don't know if you can see them. There's a mark there, another one here, one there, and one there. Now I'm going to identify them with a pencil a little bit as well. Now this next part is going to be, it's pretty sexy. You're going to love it. So people who have watched me for quite a while will know that I have something called an optical punch. And I'm now hoping and praying that I've got it here with my other punches, because that would be terrible if it wasn't. I found it. All right, I'm going to switch over again to the other camera and grab a hammer. And I'll show you how this optical punch works. It's not a situation of me hitting something with my eye. That would be a tragedy. This is an optical punch. Now how it works is there's this little guy here. Now this is a brass holder basically, and it has an O-ring around the bottom to stop it sliding around. And it has a lens. Now this lens slides down inside the punch, and it has crosshairs embedded in the end. I don't know if you can see them. See the crosshairs? How cool is that? this really makes me, I love it, I love it. So what we do is we put the punch holder and the crosshair in it. And then we sit it on the top, and I look down and I put it right over where it has to go. Now the O-ring is stopping it moving around after I've let go of it. Next thing, we have the actual punch itself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold that steady, take the lens out, put the punch back in, let it slide down. It's like a piston fit, and give it a hit. That's marked it. And that is dead center perfect. So I'm going to do that on all of them. I'll bring this camera in nice and tight so you can see it. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to have a look down through the punch. Found it. Take that out. Drop this guy in. Down she goes. And give it a hit. See that? Absolutely perfect. The other two. It's been worthwhile watching the show just to see this bit. It's one of my favourite toys. Absolutely. Down it goes. Done. Perfect. And the last one. Don't be tempted to hit that. That'd be terrible. Gotcha. Perfect. All right, now we're going to duck over to the drill press and drill it out. As I say, have a look. I don't know if you can see the crosshairs. I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to line those up for you. And you can see them wandering around in there. All right, there we go. Over to the drill press, which is right there. That's going to be okay. Now I've got a brad point drill bit in it, and we're going to drill a 6mm hole right on the money. That's where it's got to go. One. Turn her off. Line him up again. Spin him around. I could take that down just a little bit deeper. I will, as a matter of fact. Do you know that you can set these drill presses up, this particular style? There's a little thing here we relax and take it around until we're down through the depth we want, and then tighten it back up again. There's also a stop on the other side, but I'm not a fan of that one. I like the one on the return. Bring it down. That's better. That's right through. I'll clean these other holes up while I'm here. Done. Now, next on our list of things to do here is I've got to do a countersink. So let me see if I've got the countersink here. I do, I've got that. And I'll need a drill. I'm going to do the countersink just with the smaller drill. There it is, I've already got it out. This is a cross-hole countersink or a through-hole countersink. Different to the ones they use on steel. I find these are a whole lot better as far as working with timber is concerned, or wood. Now, which side has it got to go on? It comes in from the other side. So we'll countersink this. Flip this over there to let you watch. Done. And our jig is finished. The jig is up. All right, what have I got? I use this guy here. We'll put the countersinks in from there, and they will be going into there at that point. Line the back up, line that one up. Another one. Nearly dropped it. If no optical punch is available, could you use a small VIX bit? Yeah, of course you could. Yep. I just like showing off. I like showing with toys. Oh dear. But you got to admit that optical punch is pretty special. Last one. And you see it worked pretty well. Now it's pretty important that the heads go under the surface. Otherwise they're going to hold the domino up out of the way in different areas. Okay, so that's the jig. Now, the moment of truth will be actually when we actually use it. Now, the domino, we're going to connect the domino to it and do some stuff with it very soon. But before we do that, I'm going to use the domino on here. Just going to clear a few things off the deck. We're going great. Time's going well. If I go over, I go over. I'm not overly fussed. We'll be fine. VIX bit self-centering when Bigfoot is clamped down. Yes. It's a Veritas optical punch. I don't know if they make it anymore, but they're pretty impressive. I love them. All right. That out of the way, that out of the way. And those can go over there. Now what I've got to do is I've set the bench up so that I've got a couple of dogs at the back here, and I'm going to mark this piece of panel. This is either the top, bottom, or the shelves. It doesn't matter, they're all the same. Hey Matthew, how are you? Now I have to mark it with a tape measure, of course. There it is, and the pencil. Remember to keep pencils sharp, as I was saying. Let me see, those ones are across the 580 mark length. So 583. Okay, so I've come in on that one. Let's call this the front. So I'll put a face mark on it so I know where I'm at. There you go. There's a face mark. And I'm going to measure down the side. So this is the width of the unit. This is the side. So I'll be putting like so, 50, 200, 400, 550. That's what I did over on all the others. I've already done the other three because I thought, you know, it's not going to be any fun if you see too much repetitive work. There's already a lot of repetitive work being a live show. Of course, on a video that I do, a dedicated video, I just do a whole heap of stuff and then just pick out the interesting parts, which keeps people watching. Otherwise, they get bored and go to sleep and what have you. Now, these lines are for me to create mortises for the dominoes. The dominoes are these things here. These are what's called a slip tenon. But it's one of those things, I don't know what you guys think. If you own a domino machine, it's funny calling the domino and the dominoes the same name, isn't it? Like the domino creates the hole for the dominoes to go into. And it's all based around, you know, what a game of dominoes looked like, I guess. That's why they called them that. All right. Now this part is really quick and easy. Where are you? Here it is. Now, the 500 domino, which this one is, you set it up differently to the 700. So with the 500 on the side, you'll see down here, there's all these different sizes, and that is the material thickness, not the center of the cutter. On the 700, they changed their mind and they said, all right, well, how about we just make those dimensions the distance down from the fence to the center of the cutter. So this is 16 millimeter melamine. So I'm actually looking at a stop here, which is on 16 millimeters. Actually, there's something interesting. The scale down the side is actually to the center of the cutter. You'll have to forgive me because I've only recently got this. The stop on the side here tells you the thickness of the material. So it's set at 8 millimeters on the side, and then the stop down the bottom here, which you can adjust, is 16. I've probably got a whole lot of people saying, you're an idiot, David. Yeah, exactly right, lamellos and lamellos. All right, I'm going to throw these on. I don't really need to. You may want to turn the volume down a little bit. I'm doing what's called a tight domino. So these are going to actually be a tight fit. The ones on these panels behind me are going to be a loose fit. So I'll show you how easy this is. I always turn it on before I bring it up to the job. Otherwise you might force the thing and break the cutter. Don't you love it? I do. So, what we have are all of those ready for the dominoes to go into. Now, I'm going to work from the same side, spin her around, and I'll flip the cameras over to this one so you can see it happening from the side. All right. Mortiser. Go with the domino and Dominique. The beauty of the domino and the carcass constructions, they are not seen much more accurate than pocket screws. Yep. I could have done a 2 millimeter deep mortar, dado instead of using the domino setup, or from the outside, seeing this carcass is going to be buried inside a wall area, I could have put a 2.5mm drill straight through the side of the cabinet, like assemble the cabinet with brads, just nail it together softly, and then get a 2.5mm drill, I should say, drill 2 inches in, and then drive an 8-gauge 2-inch screw straight in. That's how a lot of the cabinet makers do it. But yeah, that's no fun. We want fun. There we go. So you can see what's happening here. I'm not holding it down at all. It's just sitting on my bench. These are the non-slip strips that are on it. I've got a couple of dogs at the back to push against. Turn the machine on. Put my eye muffs on first. Sorry. And don't push too fast. Now you might be wondering what I was looking at. Just here is a clear area with calibrations on it. That one in the middle is the actual center where the domino's centering going to be. Now we're going to put this over here with the others because they're all done. And swing the camera around this way, and you'll see I've got this guy out. The reason I've got this is the best square that I've got, the squarest square when it's got this on it. And I've got a mark here already as to where I'm going to go to. Let's push this up a little further. Pencil. So I'm using the back of the guide rail, and that's the center. So I've got to actually plunge dominoes into that line, and this is where the jig is going to come in handy, I hope. All right, so there's my jig, and you can see that's where it's going to be going on that line, and I can look down on the cursor here when I've got a shadow on it. That'll be easy to see, and you can see it lines up. I've got to extend that line a little bit. I didn't make those lines long enough. You're not going to be able to see much of this because it's quite bright here, but if I do a couple of lines kind of nice and dark, that might help. How's that? I don't know if you can see those or not. Bring it around here a bit. Might help to see it. I'm going to do these one at a time. So I will get that one off. All right. Let's put the domino on the jig. So what I'm going to do is fold the fence back, drop this on. Come on. Clamp it. Clamp it. All right. Now, I'll bring this along to the line, like so. I can see it on the line. I can bring it back to that point there. Move the hose out of the way. And that should be dead center of where I want to go. I've got the handle on the back of the domino. I think I'm going to have to clamp as well. But that's all right. I'll bring it back to there. And I'm going to try and use, this is the first time I've used this because I've only just made it. So this is, you're learning with me. Put that there like that. I'm going to release the fence and let it drop and then clamp it. And that might act as a stabilizer. Okay, now it can't tip over. That's great. All right, so we've got center there. And this is possibly why the cabinet makers just use a screw straight through the back. Clamp it. Oh, you idiot. Ha! You wouldn't read about it, would you? One of the problems is I'm using a very shiny surface with melamine and a very slippery surface in MDF. Oh, I've just had a brainwave. I've had a brainwave. Absolutely fantastic. Give me a second. How about, David, we do this. Like that across the back. Then I can set that up with 2 clamps. Oh yeah. Or at least 1 clamp. Like so. If I put it across this direction, that might work. Yep. I'm thinking on the fly. If I spin this around now, like, no, that's not going to work. That won't work. But I can, I've got one other way of getting out of jail here. This way. There. Good. Good. Gotcha. Done. Relax that one. Now what I can do is I can slide this along anywhere I want. And all I have to do is look down onto the cursor and I'm going to make it a wide style cut. There you go. Did anyone else get that idea before me or not? So now that I've got there, I can tip that forward. That's all good. It's in position. I need to check the depth. Now this is 12 mil, this is 16, so that's 12, 16 is 28. If I set the domino to 25, depth of plunge, that should work. No, the reason we've got the jig, good question. I've already thought about that. The reason we've got the jig is because this is centering. We're working off the bottom of the domino. It's not really designed to work off the bottom, it's designed to work off the fence. So it's going to be a whole lot better, I think. Right, going to make a noise, see how we go. Hold this in position. Turn her on. I'm a little worried. Move along to the next one. And the next one. The last one. Tell you what, I love it. You know what we've just done there is we have sorted out headaches and problems. What live? So now that is, you can see once I set this up and just slid it backwards and forwards, bang, 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 they are perfect. As perfect as I set it up. That's as good as they're going to get. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm happy now. I'm going to move a few of these things out of the way. Have a quick drink. Oh, that's magic. Very, very happy. Yeah, I think a VIX bit might have been quicker. But, yeah, why not? I'm going to have a quick read. The main camera. Right aboard on the jig with non-skid rubber. I did consider putting a non-skid thing on the underside, and I didn't. So I was going to show people as well. We're going to keep going. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to go through to probably past. On the drawing table that I made, the resin table, and tipped over an angle, nothing would sit there. It all slid off. So I made that. This is the Festool Trax non-slip surface, and I'll show you how good it is. Non-slip tape, I should say, that goes on the bottom of the tracks. You watch this. I'm going to put that on. That's melamine. I'm at 45 degrees. It's just starting to slide now, getting close to 50 odd degrees. So I did consider putting that under it, but the thing is I would lift the height. And I didn't know whether that was going to work properly, Dave. If I lifted the thing up and then it could, because it's spongy stuff, I didn't know whether it would be any good. But what do you think of that idea? That's not bad as well. I love this because everyone's thinking, this is so cool. Bore behind the stock and the sufficient without the jig. Only change width setting with the motor running. Correct. I didn't have the motor running while I changed the width setting. At stack, I'll have to read back through all of that. Bottom offset to cutter is 10 millimeters. Right. Change the slot difference while the machine is running. No, I don't. All right, I'll take that on board. I make it look easy. And that's why friends need lots of tool options to work around problems. Dead right, Dave. Okay, I need to hook in. Now that I've got that moved up there, I will keep going, keep going. As I say, I'm going to go over time, probably half an hour. If you want to watch, stay. If you don't, that's fine. The Patreon meeting will still happen after that. So if you've become a patron during the week, and I've had a couple of people join me during the week, which is fantastic. Not big amounts, but that doesn't matter. I'm so happy to have more people in that little group because they get to see other little things. We have chats behind the scenes. Not that we talk about anyone who's not there. Okay, I'm going to switch the cameras around again, back to camera 3. Here we go. I love it. I love it. So, put that over there. Bring this back. Now, this is where it's going to be interesting as well because it's going to be working right on the end. So I'm not going to be able to see the reference point as well. But I do have the reference point at the back. So it's all good. Just needs to be... Where do I need to put it? I need to be careful here. Let's do this. I'm going to put reference points on this. Now why? Because otherwise I'm going to end up in trouble. Okay, so I'm going to reference off the back of the Bigfoot on those points. I'll put a bit of a square line on them. Not that I really need to, but it's going to make them stand out a bit more. So I need to put this actually, that should go right across. That's not going to work terribly well, but I can do this. If I put that there, bring it back to the line, bring all of this back this way to about there. Like so. Holding this in position. I can move that along to about there, put it back. I'm not having the advantage of the front of the fence holding it down yet. Got it. And back to about there, which is correct. Other clamp. Like so. That's got it. Then I can relax that. Down again, like so. Unlock it, so it's not going to tip. Now, what I have now is my backing board is in line here, and on the bottom of the jig is also another cursor point, that one. I'm going to line that up with that. And I know there's going to be people out there saying this is a whole lot of mucking around, but it's going to work. Well, fingers crossed. And this one. No. Okay, skip. All right. No, I did not do them. I do them all differently. That's, oh look, I can look straight through on the cursor anyway. I'm a wally. Yep, perfect. Turn her on. You watch. Bring it up to it. I didn't need to put any of those marks on this board. This is good. Beautiful. All right. I didn't need to put those marks on there at all. That's fun. Live and learn. When I do the video, you'll watch and you go, that's right. He stuffed this part up on the show. But it'll look like I know what I'm talking about on the real video. Okay, this is nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, this one, back again. Now the jig board is different for the 500 as to the 700, just letting you know. All of this extra work that I've made for myself with the rest of it. Okay. That's him. The guys from TSO might be watching and they're going, David, what are you doing? Well, I'm enjoying myself. That's what I'm doing. And with a gear clamp or a lever clamp, always be careful when you pull the action on it. Sometimes it tends to drag what you're clamping together and pulls it away from the line. That's why we're double checking. All right, here we go again. Oh, this is magic. What a great system. You know, while I was doing that plunge, I panicked a little bit. The reason being, on the original set out, I'd marked 16 millimeters wide and drew the line down the middle. And because I was advancing from this side, I was just thinking to myself halfway through, I've gone and put these mortises on the outside, and I'd have to adjust things on that panel over there. But as it was, it's all good. It's all good because now I've got a wake up to what's going to happen on that one. So I'll just be aware of it when I do it. Spin her around. Has anyone made one of these jigs before? I'm curious. Basically, well, what I'm really doing is talking so you don't get bored in the background. But I am curious to see if anyone else has made one and what they think. Throw some comments in there. Now you'll also notice that comments are restricted to people that are subscribed to the channel. I'm sure after using this a little bit more, I'm going to come up with other little ideas for it. But doing this, I think, is a good idea. So it can't tip. Just got to be aware that while you're doing it, you don't leave it tip like that and bring it back onto the board, because it'll hold it up at an angle and you'll be doing a plunge not 90 degrees anymore. Got it? Well, today is a beautiful day. See, let's just move back there. Oh, it's okay. It's like a spring day today. In the Blue Mountains. Going to relax that one and move it just a little. How's your country going in the Olympics? China's way out in front. Beautiful. Another bit of a noise. So nice. I love it. Okay, that's one of them done. The other one is going to be quick. So it goes that way up. That's the top. This is the shelf here that the dryer is going to sit on. Underneath here, there's going to be a pull-out slide and a shelf down here for the washing basket to live in. This is the front on this side. I've written left hand on it so that basically this is the left hand front of the unit, that one's the right hand. All right. Other panel. And I've marked all of this one out as well. I was going to mark them all out on the shelf. I thought, you know what? That could be dangerous. So I decided against that. All right. What I would also consider doing is making a spacer that's the same width as this to line up the guide. I think the guide for it to run against is just a brilliant idea, even if I do say so myself. You saw the trouble I was having earlier before I did that. I'm thinking, wow, that could be big problems. But for me, it's one of the things that I like about doing woodwork is coming across a bit of a problem and then working through it. So with this gear clamp or lever clamp, I'm actually pulling it around sideways. So it's going to try and do this instead of drag the board this way. Perfect. Perfect. I'll do a quick read. You're going to hang around? Cool. Daryl, I'm going to be here for a while. You built all of your cabinets and dominoes? No, I didn't. Enjoying watching. Keep up the good, enjoying the show. But puppy's calling. Okay, see you later, David. Do you find me this setup more accurate than using the indexing pins? Yes, Charles, I do. What if you use dogs to line up? Yeah, I guess I could. But this is fine. This is working well. Okay, goggles, noise. We got 4 to do down here, 16 holes. Let's get into it. You know what? I love it. Setting this back again. This is the problem I was talking about before that I could run into doing that. I do. It's just that big foot is magic. Just using this. I don't know. What do you reckon? I think this is great. It's lining it all up perfectly for me. Got the right camera running. Come on. That's not good. Just found the plastic catch or gear section on that click clamp is starting to wear. Now remember, I made comment about the 2 lines, 3 lines, whatever. There they are. That's my, I've got to be aware of that. And don't stuff it up. Yeah, definitely a block of some sort for lining it up, so I'm not dragging the machine and everything around at the same time. Beautiful. Like if you don't have a table saw, but you've got a domino or a doweling jig, whatever. This is, instead of having to create a dado, maybe you could use a router if you wanted to. Okay, more noise. Bring this camera around here a little bit and you can watch it from this side. I'm going to do a quick read again. Yeah. Reading about the piano hinge, that's an idea. Need to use the slotted holes in the big foot so the domino sits on the melamine. Okay, so, there you go. Thank you very much. Now, what that comment was there, I hadn't seen the slotted holes. This is excellent. So now we're going to lower this down into there. Instead of having those holes, the clamps on. Oh, so much. This is great. We'll let that out of the way. Drop that down into there. Move that into there. There's slotted holes down here. I want to make sure I'm going to line them up properly. Relax this. Relax that so it can do that. What's it rocking on? Ah, the O-ring. Those little O-rings hold the speed knobs in position. Put that on the other side and take the O-ring out of there, move it down. Thank you very much for that. Now we can slide that in. Come around the other side because I'm right-handed. There we go. Done. And now it's down on the base, so there's no tipping. But I'll still have to use it right on the end. That's great. Thanks heaps for that. I'm going to... Reading. All right. I've got no idea what's being said. Someone's giving me a hard time, I'm guessing. That's all right. I don't care. It's live and learn. Okay, now I'm going to tip it again at the front so that doesn't rock. And line it up where I wanted it. Sorry if I'm in the way, but I just want to get that lined up. Cool. Done. This is the last set of holes. Got it right in the last one, have I? Oh, careful. Now, you know what I nearly did? I nearly went all the way through the whole face. I've got to set the depth back down to 12. That was nearly very bad. It's okay. All good. Beautiful. Magic. I'll put that on the floor so it doesn't go anywhere. Well, we got there. Got there in the end. All right. I have two panels ready to glue together. I don't know how long this will take. Not too long, but I've got to glue it together. I'll do another read. Where are we? A few people won't be here next week. Dave, the line marks the middle of the domino slot, not the edge of it. We'll see how well lined up when he gets to dry fit. I'm not going to dry fit. I'm just going to glue it together. Well, it's working well that time. That was close. Not been here in a while. What a great time to check back in. Yeah, in the middle of a drama. Not to worry. I'm enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I need a quick drink of something, like drying out. All right. Now what I want to do, I'm going to use melamine glue And I'm also going to scratch the surface up a little bit with some sandpaper. I've got 180 grit paper here. It should be enough. Now the piece of wood that I've got for it is narrower than 16 millimeters. So I'm going to go right down the middle of where I'd marked out for the dominoes on those boards so that the melamine glue, this stuff, can, apart from glue the dominoes into the particle board, which is in behind the melamine surface, can also bond to the melamine itself. See that? Use the other camera again, I think. Here we go. So that's one I've just done. I've just advanced the paper around. A bit more this way. What are your thoughts about learning? Would you rather that everything just came through pristine and all really well, or would you rather see people make mistakes or nearly make mistakes and pull themselves back from it and have a little bit of a think, reason why, and then go forwards from there? Beautiful. That's that one done. We'll get the other one, put it on top. Sand it. Yep. He's falling off. Lovely. That's all done. Gluing time. I was thinking about also setting up the soft close drawer guides at the moment, but I won't. I think it's just going to be a little too much mucking around today. You like to see real world. Good on you, Phil. You were yelling at the computer screen. Good on you, Peter. Yeah, you're seeing the possible pitfalls. Let me come back to this camera here. That's right. You always learn from our mistakes. And a lesson learned from a mistake lasts longer, I find. I feel it does. Now I'm going to use a rag to clean off that area so I'm not gluing to dust. And the other one. Come on, up you go. Now this little scuffing isn't going to affect the look of the inside of the cabinet at all, because honestly, no one's going to be in there. It does mark it up a bit. If I wanted to be really good with that, I could have clamped down 2 pieces of timber to act as a guide to sand between. But, all right, let's start throwing some dominoes into these shelves. Now, remember that I made the domino slots, or the mortises for the dominoes, tight in these. They're loose in that one, which means this direction, not actually up and down, so there's no wobble this way, but I can adjust the shelf this way and the other way if I didn't quite get it right. Now, I can move one of these to there and get a clamp. Why not make life easy for myself? Bring this in, pop that up on there. Now I can glue and scrub brush, all that kind of stuff, and put dominoes in. Let's do it. You know, what I should have done, thinking again, here's another little mistake, but it's not a big one because I think we'll have enough time to get out of this, is I should have just put glue in the domino holes. Oh, thank you very much, John. Just in the holes where the dominoes are, and then come along with glue later. But you know what? I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to be cheeky, and put glue on there, 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 and there. And we're going to throw this in straight away. Peter, you are yelling at the screen, eh? I love it. A bit of a comedy hour today, wasn't it? I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm not proud. I really aren't. I'm not, I should say. A little bit with other things, yeah, but for this stuff, if I'm doing something new, and I told you, this is the first time I'd used or made that jig, I thought it'd be fun to do it on the show. Take this out and bring it over here. And which end is which? Well, of course, that one is there, so we flip them over the other way. Let's just throw it straight in. Mallet. Just tap it on. How good is that? Man, that's perfect. All right, next one. This time I'll just do the ends where the dominoes are going. Like that, instead of right the way along. A little bit of glue there, a bit of glue there. Now the glue will squeeze out without a problem. Beautiful. So nice. Now, why am I doing it that way? Because I'm going to do this. Flip her over and go again. Good. This time I can do all of it. So now I haven't got glue hanging around underneath, dribbling all over the floor. It's just glue on the domino itself, or the non-rotating dowel, there's another word for it. Four more of these little guys. Okay, has any of my family stayed or have they all gone? Throw this one up. Standing up so well, what do you reckon? Okay, Matthew, I was reading something there. Like the way that it would work better. Why not? Yeah, Carbotech sell it. So I have links down there in the description box. If you want to, just follow the link to whatever it's showing on Carbotech in the video description. You'll get it for the same price, but Carbotech give me a consideration. Basically, it's a spotter. And that's how I can afford to do the show. And the patrons, of course, which are the lifeblood. Thank you so much. Remember, this one is only going to be Carl-Cam. I'll bring that back just a little bit. There. So that's an interesting view, isn't it? I'm only putting the glue in the mortises and the mallet. And I'm not using a steel hammer for these because I don't want to bruise or bend the ends of the little dominoes over, the little dowels. So I let them go down, settle, and then the glue will push up around it. Release that, spin her over. Put it back. This one I'm going to dose up big time. This glue dries really clear too, so I'm not concerned about a bit of spillage over the edges onto the face, because also it will come off the melamine surface that hasn't been sanded. So it's just a matter of getting in there and peel it out. So that's why I'm not using blue tape or anything on it. Love it. Who likes my bench? This is a magic, beautiful bench. Make one. Make one. You'll be so glad you did. And I have an update coming to it soon. A very, very clever little update. Another time in the bath with the port. And I forgot to put that glue on the dominoes on the one I just put in, didn't I? Why didn't someone say that? That's all right. I should be able to pull it up. I'll pop this one in. You're probably thinking, what's he talking about? Well, I'll show you what I'm talking about. in a second. I think this one I neglected to put, give me a second, glue on the dominoes. Yes, I did. Come back over here. See that? I put it in, but I hadn't put glue on the dominoes themselves. I'm going to do that right now. Go to the other camera. And that would have been terrible. Because that's my main gluing connection point. Put them back in now. Gotcha. Last one. Change the setting while it's running, hey? All right. I'm going to read the book. You probably say, that's what the book says. It's fine. Spin her over. No, I'm not going to edge band this one. This one is going to have cypress pine solid timber edging to the front because it's going to blend in with what's already there in the laundry area down the hallway where the laundry lives. I'll do this all the way, of course. The drawer I'll edge band just with the plastic tape, you know, the iron-on stuff, which works fine. I made a shelf for Vicky's sewing room, and where she has the sewing machines, she has the spare sewing machines up high, and I'm going to replace the edge banding on that with solid timber because as she's bringing the machines down, they're slightly above her and it's pulling the tape off. So that's a situation where I've got to put solid timber. But again, live and learn. just hitting it with the mallet, I was getting a bit of breakage, so tapping it with a block is working better for me. That's beautiful. All right, glue on all of that and then put the top on. Now to do this, I'm going to do it slightly differently. Put this back here a little bit. Instead of trying to put it down on top, I'm thinking of tipping the whole thing over on the front edge so that it's all going to register, and then bring the other side up to it so I can get clamps to it a little better, I think. So let's see how we go. Drop that down. Put the glue on it first, I think. Whoop, I haven't got dominoes in there. Why not? So we've got lockdown again, and you know, people aren't getting shots, but all of a sudden the numbers are starting to pick up, which is good. Sooner everyone gets a shot against this rotten thing, the more we'll be freed up to be able to go and do things. Travel the world again if you want to, and open the stores up again to be able to go and wander around inside woodworking machines and actually touch the machines. I know it's a lot of people that do woodworking are very tactile. They need to see what's happening. I mean, they need to actually see and feel and touch, see if it's the right machine for them. Or the right hand tool, you know, balance. All of these things come into it. Yeah, I think this is going to be an easier way to do this rather than having the glue spread on the surface of the other piece that I'm going to put it on. To actually put the glue around the dowels. Right, let's get some dowels for there. And again, the reason I've got these as a tight fit and loose in the side panels is I'm not going to have any issues putting it together. Oh God, why did I say that? Because now of course I'm going to have issues. But you understand what I'm saying. These are all located. Basically, this is one large multi-tenant unit that are all correctly spaced. The other piece, the side that I'm going to put on it, having the wider slot, the wider mortise, will allow me to move things around a bit and get it perfect. A little bit of glue on these. As I bring it together. Now I'm going to have to use a clamp. Once I get one end of this kind of lined up, when it's laying down sideways, I'm going to have to use a clamp to hold it in position. push it away from me, and roll her over. And hopefully they won't all go tumbling out. That was lucky. Okay, so where's the front? The front is on the downside. I'll make sure that I've got the front on the downside as well on this one. Now you can see I've got things written on it. I don't know if you can read it or not, but that's saying front. Let's pop her on. That one's on perfect. Next one. I'm going to use a clamp for this. I get a couple of 800s, I think. At the risk of the glue drying, what I'm going to do is raise the camera up a little higher so you can watch from above. How's that? A little bit better? About there. Right, clamp. What was that? Oh, that thing, that's okay. I'll line this one up. Beautiful. Good, it's going great. The other clamp, this one here. Right, now we need to make sure that the end is lined up. Use the rubber mallet for this part. Now, clamps on the bottom. And then I'm going to check it for square. Move this out of the way. Getting kind of caught up with things here in front of where I want to be. Okay, so if I put that up there and then drag the whole unit back towards me, I can slide a clamp up from underneath and tighten him up, which is perfect. Now I can lift the whole end and push it that way until it goes off the end a little bit. Method in my madness. I'll switch around to the other camera. Put another long clamp on those 600. I think these might work. Move this guy right out of the way for the moment. Yep. Like so. I can pick that up and push it back. And now it's sitting on there on the two clamps either end. I can slide clamps under now. So I have some good ideas. I get some good ideas now and then. Not too often. Pulling up beautifully, of course. This is nearly as good as the glue up that we did with the Lutyens bench. That wasn't that fun. Once I've got top, bottom, and what have you all clamped together, then I'm in a situation. How many have I got over there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. Maybe it's over there. That's fine. I forget what I was talking about. Beautiful. One more to go. Yeah, so then I can use the rubber mallet and give it a tap in the middle. Now the advantage of this, of course, is there is nothing anywhere showing any mechanical fastening. It is totally a glued, hidden unit. I'm going to put another clamp either end, one there in the middle, and then we're going to call it. I don't really want to go for the longer clamps because they can be an issue, getting in the way. But it did squeeze the glue. The ones in the middle aren't as much of a problem. They're only the shelves. Finished. Oh, I've got to measure the diagonals. Bloody hell, how am I going to do that now? I'll measure them in here. Right. I should have measured it before I put the top on. You know what? Roofing square. Let's throw the square in there. That'll do. Down there. It's got a slight, ever so slight. Oh no, that's perfect. That's fine there. Down here. Done. Good. I'm happy with that. All right. 2 hours. Mammoth. Going to have a quick read. Thanks, Andrew. John, you want to check for square before too many clamps go on? Thanks, John. It's all done. How will you measure for squareness diagonals? I use the roofing square. No doubt to screw if you wish, but not necessary. Looks good. Thanks, Bianca. Wouldn't necessarily need a pocket hole, just a domino. All right. Bravo. Thanks, Peter. Now, I'm going to have the Patreon chat. So if you are a member of Patreon, I've moved the Zoom meeting up to the top of the Patreon page. Every now and then, I will just throw that up there. I will call out the names of the people who who are a certain tier, who get their names read out and also get one of my mugs. It's around here somewhere. So we've got Johannes Mohr, John Parra, Vincent Ngian, Peter Woolworth, Brian Del Vecchio, Justin Bailey, Father Brett Guthrie, Mike Deam, Wayne Cargill, and John Lynch. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to all of my patrons. And I hope you guys have a good week and look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. Quickly reading down the side here. Thanks, Eric. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and I shall see you next week. We'll continue on with this.